What's up, Hippo lovers? King of the Hippo 6 qualifier number 4 coming in your house. We will play Nomad, Regicide, and the King of the Hill in the center of the map. And we'll have 7 people having the choice for Vietnamese, Turks, Incas, Slavs, and Italians. With me will be Mr. Onlu. And tell me about the civilizations here.
Hi, Nelly. It's
Hi.
good to be here, but currently loading stream.
Oh, okay. Then I will talk about that, and we will see a lot of action already in the center. For everyone who is new to this format, if you control the monument in the center, you will get 1 wood, 1 food, 1 gold, and 1 stone per second. And that's why a lot of people ran there with their kings and now trying to contest that area and even building some militia. So we'll see some engagements here. Could see some quick wards against that king. We'll see about that. Future is going for that center area as well. Now the first militia out. Maybe Cool is contesting this. And it looks like Future will have the first advantage. And even going for the TC there. So nice aggressive start out of him. And well, militia king there, and you can see his resources climbing quite a bit. And I thought about this potential strategy, but then I thought, well, what happens if someone is sending a villager and just walling in the king? So I really want to see that. Didn't happen this time. And double dog from Future, what is he up to?
Yes.
What is this?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, Onlu, welcome.
Yeah, it's not working for some reason. I did a test game with Roach and King Marv.
Yeah.
Like in between, like during the last game, and everything worked out just fine. And now it's stuck on loading stream.
Maybe try to restart there. We'll see about that. More militia coming up. I still don't get the double dog here from Future. Feels a bit over eager. Obviously, Future known to be the first ever King of the Hippo champions for the old $450. Couldn't do the after winners interview because he was shaking over his whole body. And I know him in person, really lovely guy. That's how Future won his qualifier in the first King of the Hippo, holding the monument with galleys. Yeah, that's true. I think that was the old Graveyards version, right? With some water control. Everyone was playing Persians at that time. And let's take a look. Villager count. We see Future quite behind, but he is gaining so many resources here. Fishing ship, some for him. And military, quite a bit for him as well. Position. I'd say King Marv in a good spot, has a lot of booming area to the right hand side. Green can boom a lot to the right hand side as well. Gray already with quite some nice water control. And although you will ever give me the update when you are ready. Otherwise, we will just watch how this will play out. Everyone new to this, we are fighting for the monument. If the timer at the top right hand side is down to 0, whoever controls the monument will win the game. The map is called Nomad. And whoever loses his king is out of the game as well. Okay, maybe we start to try to figure out how to find kings. Oh yeah, that's just... Oh, I did that quite easily. It's, yeah, control and idle villager test. Okay.
Sorry, Nelly.
Key, I mean. Yeah, no problem. So, with us is Mr. Onlu himself. Welcome, my friend. So happy to have you here after our
I'm so
pretty successful ECL cast.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was really interested to see Nomad Regicide. I just think it's a map that you have the land element, you have the water element, and between all of the, you know, being Regicide and King of the Hill, there's a lot of crazy stuff that can happen. And man, is Future in an interesting spot, as you were talking about.
I don't think he's making too many enemies here. Onlu quite low. Okay, I will fix that. And it should be way better now. And yeah, just in the center there. I don't like that he's putting the TC there. Other people tried to flee quite a bit and went to the outside afterwards, because if you control the center and trying to fight this, and I don't really know why he's going for 4 dogs already, it just means you're fighting against basically 6 people.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on this whole idea. I mean, pretty much everybody has to go through you to get to the monument, right? And controlling the monument in the early game doesn't really matter. It's all about, making sure you have it at the end. So it's, I think, going to be a little tricky for Future to hold on here as the other 6 players in the game are going to start bearing down on him.
Well, we will see. Some redogging still quite low. I can't make it higher, honestly. I have him on OBS the maximum, in Discord at the maximum, and actually default output. Maybe talk again.
Hello? Hello? Hi?
Okay. I have everything at the maximum. I can't do it. If you can put yourself louder, that could be something, but otherwise, no option to change that anymore.
I can try.
Early monument control is worth a lot. Quite true. It's worth roughly 12 villagers, and as you can see, I'm always liking to jump into the resources, and we see Cool headed for 70 seconds, but now we can see Future with quite some resources already earned here, simply because he's controlling that monument for such a long time. Sweet stuff for him.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I'm already on maximum on my end for input. But we have everyone getting up to the feudal age at this point, it seems. I think it's interesting that we really do see so many people here picking Slavs. I think they might just be like the best FFA civ. I feel like they're just so powerful in like these grindy Imperial Age situations where you can just spam halberdiers and cheap siege for a very long time. And despite this being a water map and Slavs not being a very good water civ, obviously the monument, it's on the land, and I think a lot of halberdiers and siege rams could be the difference maker here.
Yeah. Probably siege is always really good to control the center, to take the center away from others, because like onager shots are just so good because you kind of have to stand at the stone ground, so no possibility to move around, and people are getting into feudal age influenza even on the way to castle age, so people will transition. Why could you make an argument for Turks though? Cool and influenza went for Turks.
Yeah, so Turks are always going to be pretty interesting as an FFA civ because you don't have the guarantee of trade that you do in a team game. But so long as you have access to gold, Turks are real scary, right? I mean, a ton of Janissaries, bombard cannons, bombard towers, even with artillery. All of that could be really good at securing the center of the map. You have the Hussars to reinforce quickly, and even siege rams to help hold it down. So I can see it makes sense so long as you have gold.
Yeah, I see that as well. And yeah, you talked about artillery. Well, that could be pretty sick for the potential cannon guns as well with bomber towers. If they can control the water, that could be pretty sick. And it looks like Future's controlling it for now, but Turks could be really scary. And we can see Influenza. He's heavily on stone, so that will be an aggressive castle for sure.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. Almost certainly going to be some kind of aggressive castle drop. Janissary is such a powerful castle age unit, 8 range and a ton of attack. Usually a pretty good combination for a unit, and I don't really think there's going to be a whole lot to stop that if we're going to see Flu go forward. I'm not sure if you mentioned this already, but Influenza, very famous as a guy who loves playing on his Nomad maps, so I wouldn't be surprised if he had something special planned here.
Well, we'll see. And yeah, people had the choice to pick their qualifiers, and well, a lot of people love to, or seem to love this one. Maybe it was the good time as well. And yeah, love to see me perform pretty well in the last Nomad 2v2 tournament as well, and in general in Nations Cup. So I'm expecting quite a bit of him. For example, Timotheus, he is not having any of that. He is just walling himself, and he will play a very defensive, very boom intense game with Stonewalls this time.
Oh yeah, there is nothing aggressive coming out of our yellow player anytime soon. Looks like we might have a little bit of more fighting going on at the north of the map, just more fire ships, firing at each other, so to say. And yeah, I think, with the castle coming down for Influenza in the center of the map, instantly going to be killing off a few villagers of Future. He's going to realize he's got a pretty big problem on his hands, I think, pretty quickly.
Let's see, he has endless amount of resources, so defensive castle could easily be an option. He can go for, indeed, galleys and do the war galley upgrade, so maybe control that area quite nicely. He's building a castle now. For my taste, it could have been even closer to the monument. What do you think?
I very much agree with that. I think especially because of the water right there, I would have liked to have seen it maybe right on the other side of those couple houses, like right underneath the barracks, like that area. That would have been a really good spot for it.
Yeah. And 2K score, yeah. Cool is complaining about Future taking so much. And that's an unfortunate thing. And don't, if he's sending all his villagers back onto that castle, he might misclick and send the king out. Let's see about that. If he's ever trying to get back to the castle, that could be pretty quick, tricky. Oh, but he only clicked the villagers out. Nice move.
Thankfully, there's the back to work button, so you don't have to just eject every unit that's garrisoned in the TC. You do not want to have your king run into the waiting arms of those Janissaries right there. A couple of whom are caught out of position a little bit, but yeah, the Janissaries I think are just going to be way too much for even the war galleys to deal with comfortably.
Yeah, and they outrange the war galleys at the moment as well, since we are pre-Botkin arrow. And what else you can do is you shift click and then click on villagers and you ungarrison every unit of that kind. So in this case, it would have been the villagers, but Future is now building himself another castle. The king is jumping in and, well, Influencer will snag the monument away from Future if he so desires. He could just easily move in.
Just walk forward. Just go. Take what's right in front of you, Influenza. Get the free resources. It's pretty good.
He's not going for it just yet. Look at that. Just killing a fishing ship before that. But he's like 3 steps away. Okay, now he took it.
Wait, what did he take it? Oh, okay.
I'm surprised as well. That bugged a bit, right?
Yeah, it's like he took the monument right before, or maybe it's just us as like spectating, like a slight delay or something, but...
Felt weird.
Yeah.
Okay, but as you said earlier, Future, now with 26 villagers, that's pretty tough for him. Röchel is having some problems here as well with 31 because he got beat down heavily on water, invested a lot there. But you can see, people like Timotheus, they are already close to 50 villagers here, just sitting back, 40 C-Boom. Those are the guys who I will, favor when it comes to contesting the monument later on.
Yeah, and I kind of like Marv's position here, over here in like the eastish of the map, because he's walling himself in, much like Timotheus, but he's got so much room to work with. No one's really hanging out over on the east side of this island, I guess. And there's so much gold and stone to be taken for our orange player. Maybe Roach too, but he's got a lot of mangonels up in his face, knights as well, so it's not going to be really as easy for him to do that, and I think orange is going to be in a really nice spot as the game goes on.
Where is his king? Pretty far away, so if he loses that TC, it's not meaning he is out of the game. Quark, not really playing the center control early on, just wants to give himself some more map control, which I can understand. Has a nice food eco now because he won the water, and just more control for the gold spots. If you are very close to someone, sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important to do that, actually, just because you don't want to be squeezed out of the game. You need resources to get into the Imperial Age if you actually ever want to contest the monument, and if you're just that close to somebody, with a lot of these players kind of grouped over towards the north of the map, it's going to be pretty important just to take someone, just so you can even get their resources and space, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. Influenza at the same time moving forward here, builds another castle. Future won't get his castle up at 82%. Is trying to boom, but still only 1 TC for him. That's just pretty tough, and I really would have loved to see him send some villagers out to the right-hand side and get a bit away from that center area. 250 years for him, and people, well, won't take too much longer till they can contest the center as well, and he won't have the strong eco.
Yeah, though we do have Flu coming forward here in the center with another castle right in front of the former castle, well, the attempted castle of Future, and he's going to have a TC, his starting TC lost very soon. Something I actually am not sure of. Oh, wait. Cool's defeated? What?
Where was his?
Where's his king?
It was orange. What?
I didn't have a chance to hotkey all the kings because I was late.
Could someone tell us what cool did he have? No, nothing on water. Okay, so cool won't compete in this one.
Feels bad, man.
And we don't know why. Where was his king? Was he running around?
Like, he had one of the highest populations in the game. He was just chilling. I don't know how he could have possibly lost it unless...
Timotheus and Marv clearly didn't kill one. It's unlikely that Future, maybe with some ship, unlikely there.
Maybe
I don't see
it
Quark.
was
Well,
probably their flu or...
oh, I think I got him. I think it was Future. I think he ran into Future's castle.
Oh, I see the...
North to the second.
Yeah, the dead body. What was that king even doing there?
No idea. And he walled himself off.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just so sloppy.
Yeah, cool in chat.
Oh, yeah. So rip him.
Rip.
And we felt he had a good shot there because he had quite a big area, had the big fish boom as well. That was... How much was that? Like 30 fishing ship as well? It's looking pretty sexy for him, but well... Okay, at the moment it's still the approach of Future to go for full water control. 205 years left for him.
Yep. And as I was about to say, before Cool's king decided to have a date with a bunch of arrows in his face, do these ships contest the monument?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
We saw that earlier, him taking back the monument against the Janissaries. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's going to be pretty important. Slavs, pretty terrible navy in the late game. You're the DM player. Do Slavs get shipwright?
I don't even care because they don't have Bracer, right? Or they do have Bracer.
No,
well,
they don't. They don't have Bracer, nor do they have shipwright.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they're horrible for sure.
Yeah, so... But I mean, just in general, ships are better than land units, just in, like, you know, straight-up combat. So they're going to be pretty tanky. They have a fair amount of HP. They have a lot of pierce armor. But they're not going to hold up to these bombard cannons that are coming in from Flu.
Oh, and Cool now in the chat, not really happy with this. He felt like, okay, I had a pretty good eco. Look at that, he still is kind of contesting the eco. He has third highest villagers. Reichel the only one with very low ones here. His king pretty unsafe, running away. And Timothy is already on the way to Imperial Age, but now fighting against Influenza, something they don't want to do. Only 180 years, and Future might snack it again. Let's take a look. Where is he going, Imp? Okay, it's not in his... Starting to see.
That would be very unfortunate for him. But now it looks like King Marv also going to be making a play for the middle of the map, starting to throw down some barracks. And I assume that Timotheus is going to want to start breaking out of his base soon. And I don't think I don't think Influenza can really secure the middle comfortably while fending off Timotheus from the back. I mean, that's kind of getting sandwiched right there. It's going to be pretty tricky for him, I think.
Yeah, Influenza is thinking better of it and is going for the center now. He is leaving Timotheus alone and will try to contest this. Needs a lot of bombard cannons, and then Future will have a lot of problems really defending this off properly.
Yeah, I mean, even the Janissaries, they just have such high attack that the high pierce armor of the ships doesn't really matter as much. And yes, the ships will be alright, but some bombard cannons come in, that could be some really sick splash damage, Nilly.
Oh, why is he trying to engage this? It's just horrible for the Janissaries. That's a good fight for Future. And you can see, well, Monument just switched there, but, well, it's back to Future now, who's reaching Imperial Age any second. Will lose his stocks, though. I think it will be pretty tricky for our German winner of King of the Hippo 1.
Well, could you say that the Monument went back to the future, Nilly?
Oh!
Oh god, sorry, I had to. But yeah, Bombard Tower is now coming in from Influenza, and this is really where the Turks can excel. So long as they have the gold income, Bombard Tower is now with artillery complete. You just have so much ranged firepower that it's going to be really hard, I think, for the Slavs to even approach, because most of their army, it's in their infantry and siege, and if that just gets gunned down by the Turkish ranged units, it might be a little bit tricky here.
Yeah. By the way, I would really recommend checking out the Instagram account of our tier player. I heard he is a pretty big influencer.
Oh, there you go. One good pun deserves another.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, we have Barracks now going for champions. Why is he going for champions in addition to his Janissaries? Like, what is he fearing? Halberdiers? Not really. Boyars? Not really. Yeah, it's probably against all the ram attacks.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna need to have something to deal with the rams, but... Wait, so he was getting long swordsmen. Or did he convert that?
No. Influenza is going for champions.
Huh,
probably against the rams.
Yeah, I mean, so long as you have something to deal with the rams, I mean, Turks kill everything else, no problem. And, well, Turks do have fully upgraded champions. Also, I'm not sure if it really matters here, but Turks do have heated shot. Pretty sure they have heated shot, so... Could,
not the most important upgrade if you have bomber towers close to the water anyways.
Does it affect bombard towers? I feel like it should, right?
It probably should, but it's not very important, I believe.
Regardless,
yeah.
Got Boyars coming in here from King Marv, and they're not going to do anything against Janissaries. Just Boyars, all of their armor is in the melee armor. Well, it's for their strongest, and Janissaries don't really do that. So I'm not really sure what the game plan is going to be here for our Slav players.
Let's see. Well, he's teching to Elite Boyar. He has so much control in the back, so many castles for him, so King Marv. Well, Boyars, once they get all the upgrades, they perform reasonably well against the Janissaries. Obviously, Paladins are a bit nicer to produce. I love that Future is going, well, somewhat to the outside, but where is his king? Do we know where his king is? Oh, he put it into a transporter in this little lake.
Where is this transport?
It's in the center, like the upper lake, higher to Future.
Oh, is this the king's yacht that he's just taking out on a little joy cruise in the middle of?
And he has a grill with himself.
Yeah, I mean,
makes sense, huh?
Makes total sense right there for Future.
Okay, 95 years. Oh, we didn't even spam nearly years, guys. It is less than 100, so that's your spot where you spam nearly years, because now it's really time where it gets super important to fight for the center for everyone.
Yeah, certainly. And, well, Influence's base is starting to become Sir not appearing in this film, as there are tons of garrisoned siege rams from Timotheus, probably with fully upgraded Slav halberdiers. And like I was saying, with Timotheus kind of ready to stab Influenza at the back at any time, it's, I think, going to be really tricky for our Cyan player. Even if he has a really nice hold on the middle right now, it's just going to be a matter of how sustainable is this going to be as this timer clicks down.
Oh man, and he just had pop 140 out of pop 130 there, and is losing more houses, more castles. Timotheus had a pretty good resource bank as well, expecting him to see the SO tag, is going for more gold. He has a good shot of contesting this, and looks like a small drop here. But, well, we will continue even if someone drops from here on. Influenza, 75 years for him. People need to contest him, and I don't see anyone really going for it. Can he maybe make it? We kind of lost this.
Yeah, I mean, the timer's clicking down really quickly. I feel like people are usually just like a little too slow in trying to push out to the center, as we have, you know, everyone's trying to go for the center right now, but I feel like this should have been done like 50 years ago. Game time, right? It's like you want to be like really starting to hammer in the pressure towards the middle of the map as you hit 100 years, not, oh, let's just start mobilizing our army as we hit 100 years.
And King Marv is going to the wrong direction. Future won't have the best contest. It's Timotheus, the only one at the moment really going for it. 60 years. He is saying everyone attack. Let's see, what does El Quark have? He is coming with another attack. He is checking with champions and siege rams. How do you like Influencer's chances?
I think they're pretty solid. I think it's going to come down to his bank, which is not very large right now. You know, he's going to be trying to produce as many units as possible, but, I mean, really the champions are the only things that can deal with the siege rams, and he's got a lot of siege rams he has to deal with. It's going to be really close here, Nilly.
Oh, but Quark is going to the wrong direction. Orange, well, he defeated some of Future, which isn't too important. 47 years to go. There's not much meat close to the monument though, so maybe just killing that trap could actually change the owner of the monument. A lot of castles going down.
Yeah, like I don't think it's going to be enough here for Influence. I think there's just too much from all of the other players in the game attacking at every other angle. Influenza's reinforcement supply lines were totally cut off, and there we go. We are going right back to the future, nearly.
Back to the future, indeed. How is he controlling that monument back again? Influenza slipping it up a bit, and now he's getting completely crushed here. Oh boy, Influenza, that's nothing against Elite Boya. He will just get shreked. At the moment, he is down to pop 75. He had a go, he went down to 40 years, but was a bit sloppy, and now loses everything in the center.
Yeah, we do have Timotheus actually starting to take control of the monument, so we might start to see a little bit of a fight between Timotheus and King Marv and El Quark, and I think those three players are going to be the most impactful players going into this later portion of the game. Whose comp do you favor right now?
I'd say King Marv is too heavily on gold units without any support. Didn't you think like some scorpions are needed to support that? Yeah, he has a lot of map control and still has a lot of gold to mine from, but it feels in the very long run he needs to have more than a single unit.
Yeah, in case you guys didn't know, despite the very high melee armor of the Boyars, they are still quite terrible against halberdiers, particularly, you know, the Slav halberdiers with their area of effect damage. So you're going to need to have some sort of anti-halberdier component to your army if you're King Marv. But if you can get that, it's going to be really difficult to stop him because his army is just so population efficient.
Yeah, I agree. And we see left-hand side Futures trying to rebuild. Some still has his transporter here. And, well, Monument owner is switching over and over again. That's actually good for Futures Reboom because he's getting at least some resources. Rochen is now somewhat back, has some TCs running for himself, and went for some monks. That's not really important. Most important thing is now probably Timotheus against King Marv in the center.
Yeah, that's probably going to be our most immediate showdown, but unfortunately for King Marv, he's kind of caught between two armies right here, with Timotheus coming in from the south and El Quark coming in from the north, and he seems to be pretty hard-pressed in defending from both of them at the same time, as we do see Timotheus make that play for the center monument right now.
Okay, but Influenza isn't out of it. He has pop 60 at the moment. He still has his king, so he can continue playing this. And he gets all the extra resources from Mr. Cool as well. So he has some areas to fall back to the left-hand side. I think if the game continues for another 10 minutes, he will get his second shot.
Yeah, certainly. It's not like he was, in a max situation where he's down to 3 population, where it's pretty impossible to come back, but yeah, Flu just needs time. The more that everybody else drains their resources fighting for control of the middle, the better it is for our Cyan player. Oh man, we could be seeing some huge SO hits coming in soon. Oh, lots of Dead Siege Onagers already.
Trading quite fairly there, maybe a bit better for King Marv. That cast of Timotheus probably shouldn't really go up too much of a defense, and yeah, base kind of established here for Marv already. And, well, this will be tricky for Timotheus. Let's take a look on the water. Future, he is holding back, and he will come back in for the snipes when necessary.
Yeah, I mean, he still has the docks, and he still has his small fleet of galleons that he can just, nab control of the center monument if the opportunity arises, but that is a not there castle right now for Timotheus. And yeah, we still have Marv in a better spot in the middle, like generally speaking, but crucially not in control of the monument, but now is time to release the Boyars.
And they're coming in a lot of champions. We would have loved to see more halberdiers for sure, as we mentioned earlier. And let's take a look. It looks like Marv is just slightly winning it and changing the owner of the monument. Or is he not? 60 years now, some SO going down. This was a very even fight.
It was a very even fight, but remember, the army of King Marv is a lot harder to reproduce and is a lot more expensive than the army of Timotheus. So it's going to be a little bit trickier for him to do that, but Yeah, I was gonna say,
And
yep, I think Future's gonna be able to take the monument again.
oh, the hero of the game for sure. Good stuff for him. And we see King Marv can't reproduce out of most of his castles. He is up to 7 castles. At the moment, Timotheus even has 3 relics, although he had so little map to work with. Pretty fortunate for him.
Yeah, that must have been some pretty nice relic generation right there. And I was wondering if we might see some raiding attempts from really Timotheus or King Marv to attacking each other, but both are pretty content to being fortified, walled at home. I think everyone's just going to focus all of their resources here in the middle.
And now we see Future complaining that Quark is attacking him. He wanted to go for the reboom. Will be pretty tricky for him. Trying to build more docks, maybe try to run away with more villagers. But yeah, this one will get shot down. And ooh, the transporter with the king even trying to pick up some more villagers. Bit of a risky move, but was fine after all.
There we go. Future is really the hero of our story, let's be honest. Always just coming in, snagging the monument whenever possible, dragging on this game, and, well, I think we're starting to get at a little bit of more of a stalemate where nobody's really able to take control of the monument for too long.
Yeah, Gray has it for now, but that's only until he loses his champions and halberdiers, and then Future will have it back. And let's take a look. He is fleeing with more villagers again. Maybe he is able to rebuild at the base of Cool, which is kind of uncontested for now. It's only Influenza with some villagers. Good chance for Mr. Future here to stay in this game.
And he still has control of the monument right now. You know, everyone else just kind of signed a bit of an armistice. You know, let's just not go for the monument. Let's all just, you know, reboom up a little bit because we're all kind of struggling to maintain 200 population. And it looks like now we're going to have a bit more intense fight here at the edge of the map between Roach and King Marv. See if Roach can really put his stamp on this game.
Well, he got 4 conversions here, is now producing more halberdiers. This is pretty good defense so far. It's now 2-handed swordsman tag for King Marv coming in as well. Well, Reiche will lose quite a bit, but I think he will hold it. Unless no one is really putting any pressure on the center, but it looks like a Quark is back on it, and I think King Marv has to go for it as well pretty soon.
Yeah, Quark actually getting the guard tower upgrade, interestingly. Slav towers are pretty terrible. You don't have Keep, you don't have Bracer, and you don't have Arrow Slits. Or Bombard Tower. But maybe he thinks that the guard towers will be just enough in terms of giving him sort of an anchor from which he can push. I'll have to see how that works out, though, because right now it looks like King Marv has won this war in the north, and Roach's kill-death ratio, it's looking a lot like my games, Nilly.
Well, sometimes it's tricky. He just got rushed so early, lost so much on water, then on land, and now the second time on land, and it's so weird that Future is taking the monument over and over again. Everyone just laughing. Yeah, he is really making this game so much longer.
Well, it's making this game very interesting, honestly. As usually one player in FFAs just takes control of the monument and no one is able to uproot him in time, but now we're actually getting to those really interesting points in FFA King of the Hills where no one really has a super clear shot, though Gray does have, I think, the best position to do so right now. He is at 200 population. Seems like when King Marv really started to attack Roach, it gave our Gray player the opportunity to have a little bit of a breather, get his all the upgrades he needs, get his economy all sorted out, and really start to make a good concerted effort for the middle of the map. And he is looking to be, I think, in a pretty nice spot.
Well, it feels like it, right? He has the numbers, he has 80 military, everything close by, a lot of siege workshops, a lot of SO, massive amount of resources, maybe a bit low on the wood side, but massive amount of golds. He will produce quite a bit, now guard towering up, as you said, not the strongest, but Timotheus, he has to take this seriously, and so does Marv.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think any one player can just be ignored in the middle of the map, because I think everybody, you know, all the players that matter at this point, essentially, they're in a position that if you just let them have control of the middle for like 50 years, it's going to be really hard to uproot them at that point. And right now, 82 years left, and guard towers are coming up. There are, what, 10 siege rams here for Gray? The other guys, they got to do something here.
Oh, interesting spot. And Influenza's wall still blocking a bit Timotheus. Let's take a look. Oh, and Timotheus is actually attacking Influenza in the back here. This is a pretty bad move, if you ask me. I think he should have focused more on the center. Influenza will hold this most likely because Timotheus can't completely focus himself there. And this is good for Quark at the same time. Interesting.
Yeah,
I like the shot for Quark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're Timotheus, why is your biggest concern right now Influenza? He doesn't have control of the monument. He's not the biggest threat. The biggest threat is the dude in gray, who is really in a nice position to hold on to the monument right now. And Boyars probably aren't going to be enough. You're probably going to need to see some really nice SO hits for Timotheus.
It's a lot of champions, all 1.5 dozen of halberdiers as well. But yeah, Timotheus, he should maybe get some good shots in. Let's take a look here. And well, that's some HP lost for sure, but that's still okay for Quark. And we're down to 53 years. I like his chances.
Yeah, his army count is totally massive right now. I really like that he is building plenty of production facilities closer to the monument in the center, even clearing up some of the forests so his units can get there just that much faster. I think that's something that's very important in these King of the Hill situations, just making sure that, especially when you're working with slow units like infantry and siege, just make sure that they have as small a distance to walk just to get to the monument as possible. But here we go, big fight coming in the center.
Oh boy, and well, that looks like a lot of units are going down for Quark. He himself could have really benefited from some more SO there, losing a lot of army down to 38 years. Is he sending villagers? No, they're just standing around the guard tower. More rams coming, Timotheus moving forward, Future helping out over and over again, down to 34 years.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna get cleaned up. I don't really see this game ending right now. And
He's sending in more.
Okay.
But yeah, reinforcements should be stopped by Future here, at least the south one. 26 years more SO trying to fight off Future.
Really, these gray units are not stopping. They're... Like I said, I think the fact that these production facilities are so close for Gray is super crucial for him. He has such a massive bank. And really, all the
20 years.
units are cleaned up. We got 20 years left.
Uh-oh, that's tricky. And now Teal, he is fighting still against Yellow. That's a big mistake by both of them. Influenza is just far off. Future is coming around, trying to do some sniping. Is doing good job of only focusing down against the player who's ever holding the monument. As O-Shot's not really connecting too well. 14 years. Oh no, this could be it. Now villagers are being sent in. Quark is going for it. Pop 130 for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think a big mistake from Quark is that these siege workshops that are right next to the monument for him to the north are not producing siege rams. They haven't been for a little while, and those guys are so good at just, soaking up damage and taking control of the middle. But 6 years, 5 years, oh my god, this is gonna be close, Nilly. There's a few
I'm trying
left.
to select units. This is so tricky. I believe they can maybe do it. It's only like 2 champions. It's 3 years, the units at the top.
I think he has it.
I think so as well. It's still some units, and 1 year can we see some big Onager shots, and he did it! What a clutch move. So many units there. And Timotheus, Marv, not completely focusing down the Future. Couldn't really help enough. No chance for Influenza to ever get there. And Quark, what an intense game here. Hallelujah.
Dang. That was a really good one, Nilly. That was a pleasure to cast with you. Yeah, it was right down to the very end, and a lot of different players could have won it at different points, but Quark, he was the one who constantly had his eyes on the prize, so to say. That wasn't really bothered about fighting, other people at the edge of the map. Just put all of his efforts over here in the center, and that's really what ultimately won him the game.
And Röcher even saying, just before I'm getting back into the game, he had a nice flock of champions, pop 130. That's higher than the winner in the end. Look at that, VNSQ still had 102 pop. Oh, great game.
Oh, dang. Just wasn't quite cool-headed enough to keep his king alive.
Oh, lovely game. Yeah, Timo, poor coaching by Matthias. Okay, let's take a look at the achievements. Vena's cool. 0 kills, 10 losses. Future, although he was swiped out quite early, did still a huge. He had such a big impact on this whole game. Clearly, the MVP for me here.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Future is constantly bobbing in and out, taking control of the monument, constantly resetting that timer is really just what bought enough time, I think, for El Quark to get his act together, so to say, in the Imperial Age. Because he wasn't really in like a super fantastic position. I would say that Marv, Timotheus, and Influenza were all in stronger positions in the early Imperial Age, but Future, he bought the time, man.
Indeed, time for Marv, Timotheus, and well, obviously Quark as well. And made it such a long game. Timotheus with the big boom had so much control. Marv with all the map control as well. Solid stuff by them. 3 relics, fortunately for Timotheus. 10 castles for Marv. And we still have to question the Boya choice. Was it a good one?
I don't think it was necessarily a bad choice, but I think he needed more anti-halberdier stuff in his army. Because it's just so hard to reproduce boyars because they're so expensive and you have to train them from the castles, even if you have 7 of them. It's not like you can have all of your castles right next to the front lines, so they're going to be pretty slow to reinforce.
Yeah, that's true. He had some castles back defending his eco where he tried to expand towards Röchelrochen. And yeah, that was sweet. And Onlo, I was pretty happy to witness that together with you.